So hi there, my name's Kate and the guy that rides alongside me is the husband Nigel, and we ride hardtail electric mountain bikes. And we really do enjoy riding off-road and having a bit of fun, but we're not the youngsters, we're senior riders. We don't do the high-level technical stuff. Today's ride is going to be up onto Askham Fell, and we're going to take a little bit more technical route, more technical than normal, and ride down to Howtown. Today's ride sets off on Askham swimming pool or community centre car park. An honesty box asks you to leave a donation for the parking. We're now heading off out the car park, turning left into Askham itself, and then very quickly turning right at this pub. And making our way up the road here towards the fell. So as you can see, we ride electric hardtail mountain bikes. These bikes, the Cubes, they've got the Bosch Performance CX motors on them, and they really do go quite nicely. Got a lot of power, which is just what you need in a hilly place like Cumbria. Sorry, just concentrating on the route up here. It does get a little bit rough, but quite rideable. This is one of our most popular rides for ourselves. And here we go, onto the grass. And you see the fell gate ahead. That's where we're heading. Fabulous. So a signpost at this point saying the Askham Fell loop via Pooley Bridge is 2.5 miles away. We're not going that way though. We're heading to the top of the hill, then taking a left, straight across when we come to a main trail going across our path, heading towards the Cockpit, can't say it, the Cockpit, which is a local stone circle, and then we're heading on towards Howtown. So at 1.6 miles, we're nearing the top of that hill with our turn down to the left. This is it. It's a lovely grassy track. Yeah, there's one or two bumps, dips, but nothing too bad. I do. These bikes are amazing. You really come into the road on routes like this, or indeed on uphills. I mean, you just stick it into turbo, and whether you like it or not, you're going. That's it. Down at the bottom, this is the main track, east to west. West is towards Pooley Bridge and east is towards Helton. We're going straight over. I think this route surface has been improved since we were here last. I just remember it as being exceedingly rocky. This has had a layer of coarse sand put on it. Quite sure that'll upset some mountain bikers, but hey, I don't mind. It's still off-road and nice and safe. Here we go. I'll swing round in a moment. And that is basically it. The cockpit.
How do?
So onwards from the stone circle. Again, this section, it's a bit rough. And you know what? Stones want to throw you around, which is not good. And that's it. Through that bit. Yeah. Now then, we're starting to get views. Ullswater should appear in the bottom shortly as we get a little bit further on. I should be able to get Ullswater picked up at this point. You see from miles away up here. Yeah. We've got amazing views at the moment, looking down to the right onto Ullswater. The day's beautiful. There's very little wind, nice bit of blue sky, but it's not too hot. Perfect for cycling. This is amazing. Gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely panoramic. So, according to the map here, let's get off. We have Howtown straight ahead. Another 2.5 miles. That's where we're heading. Let's go, Nige. I mean, I know true mountain bikers will zoom down here, but we're seniors. We don't do daft things like that. We can fall off without zooming anywhere, and that is really something I don't want to do. I'm not sure I'd get up in one piece. But I still like to get out and have a bit of fun, and that's what this is. Just adjust the thing so you can see better, I think, because the scenery is just too nice to miss. It's just so that if you don't get to ride this, well, you've seen it anyhow, because I've recorded it. Splendid, isn't it?
The yacht club will be down there too.
You got what? Oh, is that all we're at, is the yacht club? Okay. That was a rock. The thing is, when you're riding this route, you're so busy looking at the surface that you're covering, you don't get a chance to look at the views. And that's the beauty of taking this footage, is when you come to look at it, you think, oh, yeah, did I miss all that? So I'm just trying to take it slowly so I can try and have a little look. What could be more spectacular than this? Beautiful. I think loose gravel is worse than actual rock. Now we're dropping nicely now. Mud. Glorious mud. I think the husband was waiting for me to fall off there. Somehow. I wasn't sure I wasn't gonna. But I didn't. I hope you can see over the wall. We're still looking down onto Ullswater. We're just gradually dropping down towards Howtown. The trail's not quite as rough as it was here. Now from Howtown, we'll be turning right onto the road that takes you down the backside of Ullswater and riding back through on the road to Pooley Bridge. Thank you so much. Here we go. Getting very near the bottom now. Yep. Oh, this makes it look easy. It wasn't too bad. A bit more challenging than some routes, Depending on your level of riding ability, you can decide whether to tackle it or not. To be honest, if I can do it, anyone can, and if you hit bits that you can't do, you just get off and push. So at that point, we're heading left up the public bridleway path. Single track. We're almost into Howtown. So at 5.5 miles, the house ahead allows you to walk down the driveway and out onto the road. Well, we're going to go to the right and head back towards Pooley Bridge. We'll pop into Pooley Bridge and then head back up the road, take a right turn via Cellaran, and then head back up onto the fell via a bridleway and take in some more views of Ullswater. What could be nicer? So we have a public bar and a lovely little tea room here. Just a quaint little tea room. Nice bit of cake, cup of tea. Job's a good one. Or if you prefer, we've got the bar in there. And that's the Howtown Hotel. So this is at 5.8 miles. Now you can catch the Ullswater steamer here and link that into any walking that you want to do in the area, or indeed any cycling. I suppose we could have always caught the boat up to Pooley Bridge and not ridden the road, Nigel. So it's quite handy, that little cafe. There is a toilet there, so it works well. Well, not that the toilet works well, but it works well in your route, if you're planning one. So this is a quiet road. Unless you live down here, or indeed you're a tourist, it's not a through road, so it stays pretty quiet. Further on, you're going to pass a couple of quite big campsites, well, actually a huge campsite, particularly Parkfoot, and that's likely to be more busy at certain times of the day with the motorist. So at 9.6 miles, along this quiet lane, we can turn left and hit Pooley Bridge. Now at this crossroads, if you turned right, you could go up a narrow road and get back out onto the fell and ride towards the way we came from. But today we're going to slip down here at the moment. Have a look at the new bridge that got put up after Storm Desmond destroyed the old stone one. And have a look at the steamer pier. Now, Pooley Bridge has a number of cafes and pubs. So if you didn't have a cuppa at Howtown and you're in this direction, this is a perfect stop off. A couple of car parks, one on the left here, and one just over here on the right by the riverside. And this is the new bridge. A quick swing round here. Oh yes, you can actually see the bridge. There you go. So we've ridden right through the village at the little mini roundabout, gone straight across, and we're heading in the direction of Tyrrell and Penrith. This can be quite a busy road, but we're only on it for a short section. At 11.5 miles, roughly half a mile out of the village of Pooley Bridge, we've got a right turn. The car coming. Off-road and up a hill. This is a very quiet back lane, so that's okay. Coming along there, just short of 13 miles, we take a right turn, signposted High Windsor House and holiday cottages, a public bridleway. There we are, off-road again. This leads up onto the fell, and we're going to cross the fell. We'll head over to the Helton side and then drop down using bridleways and some of the Lowther trails and head back to Askham. A lot of off-road, nice routes and scenic. Just a winning combination. This is a gradual climb uphill on a loose gravel track. Just heading to some holiday cottages, and we find a right-hand turn that takes us up onto the fell. So here we have the right-hand turn, public bridleway to the right. Oh, that's nice. There's been a track cut out for us. Well, not for us personally, but that's great. I'm not particularly keen on riding through very long grass. Apart from anything else, I get caught up in the chain. Through that gate, and we swing to the left up a nice grassy hillside. And just follow the track. A little bit vague that it is, but you can see where it goes through between the gorse, heather, whatever it is. And there we are. Back looking over Ullswater with some amazing views. You could of course go left and go higher up the fell at the fork in the bridleway back there, but I like it this way. I just ease up and take it all in for a moment. Askham Fell is absolutely great. So much lovely surface to ride on. Amazing views. What could be nicer? There's just nobody about. We even saw a badger out here last time we rode along this route. So all you do with this is keep following the trail round, keeping the lake on your right hand side. You can see the track, it's well defined. Can't really go wrong. We're heading off down to the main track, east and west across the fell between Helton and Pooley Bridge. And you can see ahead, 1, the husband, and 2, the track that heads you towards the Cockpit, the stone circle we were at earlier. Here we go. There you go. It's a 1.75 miles from Selrun, where we turned off onto the bridleway. Pooley Bridge to the right, 1.25 miles. Howtown, where we popped into earlier, or rode down to, 3.25 miles. And then Askham Fell, Lowther Castle is 3 miles away, so that's where we're heading now. So this is the main track that takes you across towards Helton. It's a mixture of stone, loose gravel, grass, and probably mud. Typical trail, but good fun. There's nothing technical about it. It's just an easy ride. So we're passing the path we came down at the beginning of the ride and continuing on towards Helton. Now if you fancy having a go at one of these rides but you haven't got a mountain e-bike, these can be hired at a place at the Lowther Castle. It's a little cycle hire shop that's done by Aragon's, the Penrith cyclist shop. So you can hire them for half a day or a full day and follow the Lowther Castle trails they've clearly marked. It's a good way of seeing if you like e-bikes without getting yourself into anything that's too technical, but masses of fun. Or at least we think so, don't we, Nige?
Yep.
Almost 16 miles. Ah, the view just unfolds ahead of you and you're looking into the Lowther Valley. And then we hit this little country lane and we go straight across and down a grassy track which then becomes a stone bridleway and turns out onto the Askham to Bampton Road, the Ullswater Road, and we're going to turn left on that road, go a few hundred yards and then turn right down another bridleway. That's the plan for today. So at the end of the grassy banking we go through the gate onto a rougher track. Still good. A little bit more overgrown than when I came down here last time. "16.2 miles at this point. I just want you to be able to see how wonderful the views are. Fabulous. And yes, I watch Strictly Come Dancing. Nothing wrong with a fabulous. So the trail comes out onto a farm track. Here we go. Onto the country lane, heading for Helton. 16.7 miles. So roughly half a mile along the road, we get the bridleway on the right-hand side, which is where we're going to go. Signposted for Whale. My goodness. This is more overgrown than I remember it ever. Oh, hopefully that's the worst. Fly on my glasses. So, if you negotiate that part of the bridleway, you then get across to this lovely bridge. So up off that bridleway and we turn left towards Lowther. Country lane. We'll soon be turning off, turning to our right onto a Lowther trail that is going to take us towards Lowther Castle and Askham itself. So 200 or 300 yards from that bridleway, we turn right onto this trail. He's not made it easy for us. Over the little cattle grid and onto the trail that takes us by the river. It's an absolutely lovely trail. Coarse gravel in the main, but fairly level. Easy ride for off-road bikes. At 19.3 miles, coming along the trail, we come to a fork to the right, heads up towards Lowther Castle. We're going to take the fork to the left, and this brings us actually into Askham, the village itself, and rides down by the river again. And then through Askham, we'll go back to the community hall and the car park there and collect our car. And then it's time to go home. Fabulous ride today. One of our favourites. The weather's been kind. Just perfect. And here you go. Look, the fly. This is where it brings you out at the bridge in Askham. And we turn left over the bridge. Right takes you up towards Lowther Castle. Left is taking us into Askham village itself. So coming into the village, we've got the Punch Bowl pub on the left, and that's where we're going to stop off and have a little bit of liquid refreshment. And I'm going to sit in the sunshine. So after the stop at the Punch Bowl, just going to ride up through the village now. Up here, we're just going to turn right back onto the village hall car park where they've got an outdoor swimming pool as well. And I think this is where I say cheerio. So the route down to Howtown is a lovely ride. It certainly challenges my level of ability. A bit rough in places. But again, I managed it, and where I thought it might be a bit tricky, I just got off and pushed. I think that probably only happened in about one place. Anyhow, the option is yours if you fancy having a go at it. At least you can check out my video footage, which gives you a good indication of what the surface is like and whether it's something that you feel capable of riding. Obviously you can miss that section out completely. Just continue over the fell and drop into Pooley Bridge and pick up the ride from there, heading towards Celeron and back up onto the fell.